Today we're going to be discussing infant care. I want you guys to take a moment to think about what kind of needs do child care facility workers need to address while working with infants. So, some of you guys may have thought about the need to be held, a need to be fed, the need to be diapered, and the need to sleep. So, during this lesson, we're going to be going over all of these things just a little bit more in depth. So first and foremost, how do you hold a baby? You're going to want to make sure you provide head and neck support along with support of their bottoms. This is very important because baby needs to be able to breathe along with feel safe and secure. So you're going to want to kind of hold them in the nook of your arm so baby is being supported both with their spine and their head and neck. There are other ways to hold baby, but this is one of the most generic ways. So, how do we pick baby up? Well, you're going to pick baby up by sliding one hand under their head and neck, one hand under their bottom, and just lifting them up towards you and positioning them in the way that you want to hold them. You want to make sure that you're lifting them safely so that you don't hurt yourself or baby. So one reason why you don't need to pick baby up wrong or hold baby wrong is because you can cause spinal issues. These spinal issues stem from not being supported correctly. Another way to cause issues while holding baby is by not supporting their head so that they're just kind of flopping around. Their breathing is being cut off if they go too far forward or too far back. So another need that is important is feeding. You're going to want to employ the safe holding methods when you're feeding baby as well. In breastfeeding, you hold baby in a football position, just like this picture here. Baby is going to be held against you, but baby's going to be tilted up more so baby can regulate the flow of milk. You can look at baby, you can talk to baby, you can just get that whole interaction with baby. You're going to want to take your breast and cup it into a way that baby can latch on better. You want baby to latch onto the whole nipple so that you aren't feeling any pain and baby is getting the full amount of milk that they can possibly get. Breastfeeding does provide a better bond than bottle feeding does because baby can feel you, feel the warmth and the smell, and you're being close to baby. It is more cost effective. It also provides antibodies for when baby gets sick. Breast milk will change color to adjust to baby sickness. Whenever you aren't in a situation where you can breastfeed, you should bottle feed. So in order to bottle feed, you must have formula, purified water, and a bottle. Bottle feeding is more convenient. The whole family can do it, and it can be a time saver and a way to better measure your intake or your baby's intake of milk. When you are feeding baby, you do want to make sure that you burp baby, otherwise they are not going to be having a good time afterwards. The gas in their stomach will hurt them. So when you're feeding baby with a bottle, you want them kind of like in that regular hold position. They're up, they can look at you, and you can make sure that you're feeding the baby with the nipple having milk in its whole entirety so that they aren't consuming air. Eventually, baby is going to want to eat food like mommy and daddy. This will start to occur at about 6 months. So around 6 months, you can begin to introduce baby foods to baby. Most people like to do the multi-grain cereal, like the oats. They have specified baby cereals They are bland. They can be mixed with formula in a bowl and feed it to them like oatmeal. But when you want to start feeding babies fruit purees, meat purees, or vegetable purees, you need to do so with the 3-day rule. So 1 food every 3 days so you can track whether or not baby is allergic to a certain food type. And once baby eats food, it is eventually going to pass through them. So you're going to want to look at diapering options. So there is cloth diapers and disposable diapers. Disposable diapers, people prefer them normally because they are more convenient. You can just toss them. You don't got to worry about washing them out. And you can not have to worry about if the diaper isn't clean enough for baby. Meanwhile, with these diapers, they don't end up in the landfill immediately. They are reusable, and sometimes they are better for baby because they don't have as many chemicals in them, whereas disposable diapers may have chemicals that irritate baby's skin. So how do we change baby's diaper? Well, first and foremost, you want to gather all supplies so baby doesn't roll off of the surface that you are putting them on. So then you need to get baby, put them on the surface, and take their diaper off and slide a clean one underneath. Once you have their old diaper off, you need to toss it in the garbage or roll it up and set it aside. Afterwards, you can clean baby's bottom and then apply ointment and latch their new diaper together. Then you need to wash your hands and clean baby's hands just so you aren't transferring fecal matter around. And then you also need to sanitize the surface that you were changing baby on so that baby isn't enduring the fecal matter during the next change. So, what is it that babies do all the time? Well, babies tend to sleep. But before we get into baby sleeping, we're going to discuss how, or review how we've talked about all the ways that we can meet some of baby's basic needs. These needs consist of being held properly, being fed, and being diapered. All these needs address baby's physical development because if baby doesn't feel safe and if baby's hungry, then baby's not going to be able to advance to an emotional attachment or a social bond. But as we step away from these, we're going to enter sleep. So babies tend to sleep about, well, when they're first brought home, about 18-ish hours a day. Babies need to sleep because that's how they grow. That's how they gain the energy to grow. Babies, they don't sleep like us. They sleep periodically throughout the day and the night. However, they do tend to wake up about every 3 hours from birth to 4 months. After that, they start to sleep a little bit more through the night and less during the day. At about 8 months, they should be following their parents' schedule with at least 6 hours of sleep per night. So the reason that babies wake up throughout the middle of the night is so that they can stay alive. Sometimes babies don't wake up and then they end up dying. This would be a case of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. Sudden infant death syndrome is the death of an infant that is sudden. So there's a couple ways that we can prevent this. We got to make sure that you don't have toys in the crib, stuffed animals, blankets. You have a tight-fitting sheet on your crib or bassinet in which the baby needs to lay in rather than parent's bed, because parents can roll on top of baby and baby can die. So we talked about how to hold a baby, how to feed a baby, how to diaper the baby, and how baby sleeps. So now we're going to get into our questions. If an infant was crying, what are some of the ways you could satisfy them? Why is it important that infants sleep? And how does the 3-day rule prevent allergic reaction in infants?